Online dating service company Match Group, owners of popular dating apps Tinder, Match.com, OkCupid, Hinge, and Plenty of Fish, recorded a 15% increase in new subscribers during the coronavirus pandemic. Match Group ended their third fiscal quarter with a total 10 million subscribers across their apps and an expected revenue of at least $600 million according to Refinitiv IBES data. The company has even launched video dating features to many of their dating apps to cater for safer connection between users during the ongoing pandemic. So why are people using dating apps more during the pandemic? 21-year-old Kate, who uses Hinge and Tinder, says she has somewhat been using online dating apps as a way of meeting people due to lack of socializing and negative feelings that have been exacerbated by the pandemic.
I use them to meet people and to get to know them, but with no real agenda. Like, not really trying to get into something serious, but I wasn't really against it either. I feel like I used them more because I felt lonely and isolated and just desperate for human interaction, but at other times I felt like I used them less because I felt like there was no point in getting to know anyone if I wasn't really able to meet up with them due to the COVID restrictions and in particular the social distancing.
34-year-old Alex, who has used Hinge, Tinder, and Bumble, says she used dating apps during the pandemic simply as a way of connecting to new people and to pass time.
It was probably some boredom. I just kind of wanted to talk to people because I miss going into work and socializing every day. I didn't feel particularly isolated or lonely. I really quite enjoyed the COVID experience, working from home. I lived by myself, so I enjoyed all that. I think I was more just, it was something that I could do besides working. It was mostly boredom, but I never really was like, I wish I had someone. It was more just people to talk to.
27-year-old Kelly, who uses dating apps Tinder and Grindr, says he has been using dating apps during the pandemic as a way of coping with the lack of social interaction with the loss of his job.
The lack of interaction with other people, if it's face-to-face or if it's over the phone. Yes, it's the dating apps where people go on there for their own different reasons, but I guess what I've been using it more often is just to have a chat with someone, see how they're going, hopefully vice versa, they check in on me.
23-year-old Carla, who used to use Tinder, says she has avoided dating apps altogether during the pandemic for concerns it may encourage people to meet up and potentially spread the disease.
I just don't want to risk getting coronavirus, and I don't want to give it to anyone either. I'd feel horrible if I knew, I had it and I went out and went, to meet someone and I gave it to them, or they gave it to their family members or something. It'd be horrible.
Psychologist Sharon Lee Duff from Maple Street Psychology says the adverse effects the pandemic is having on people's mental health and behaviour is likely attracting them to dating apps for social gratification.
Basically, our brain is wired for us to build meaningful relationships with people. So when we find ourselves in a situation where we're suddenly unable to have that contact all the time, what happens is that tends to really increase those feelings of social isolation, and we do become lonely. And what ends up happening as far as mental health goes is we start to have an increase in those depressive symptoms because we need to be around people. That's just the way our brain is wired. Also, people who seem to have trauma in their history, what's happening to them is they are experiencing a lot more anxiety. And I can see why people would be attracted to things like dating apps because they may start to reach out in whatever ways that are acceptable to them to be able to, reach out to other people.